2025, the year we've all been waiting for. But here's the thing, you've been waiting, haven't you? Waiting for a change, waiting for things to magically fall into place. You've been watching the world spin around, waiting for the right moment to pounce. But what if I told you that the secret to it all wasn't out there, in the chaos and the noise? What if I told you that the answer, the real key, is so simple that it'll blow your mind? Are you ready for it? You think you can just keep going around chasing after everyone else's opinions, bending to their whims, getting lost in their chaos? No. It's time to stop playing that game, isn't it? Time to stop being everyone's puppet. You know what? You are the one who needs to grow. You're the one who matters. Forget what they told you, forget the noise, the distractions, the endless stream of things that tell you who to be, how to act, what to want. Forget about making anyone happy except yourself. That's the secret, you see? The secret no one told you. It's not about anyone else, it's about you. It's about waking up every day and deciding, this is my year. I am going to grow. You've been pulled in every direction. Family, friends, work, social media. They all want something from you, don't they? They all have their hands out, begging for your attention, your time, your energy. They feed off you, leave you hollow, and you just keep giving. The more you give, the more they take, until there's nothing left for you. So what do you do then? You'll be empty, won't you? But hey, that's exactly what they want, right? A nice empty shell running on autopilot, doing whatever anyone asks. You can't get anywhere like that. Not really. You can't grow. You're just drifting through life, like a leaf caught in the wind. But what if I told you that you don't have to do that anymore? What if I told you it was time to take all that energy, all that effort, and pour it into yourself? Imagine a life where you're not chasing after validation, where you stop letting the world pull you in every direction. What if you just stopped for a second? Stopped running around trying to please everyone else, trying to be what they expect you to be. What would happen if you just started saying no to them and yes to yourself? It's not as hard as they make it sound, is it? You don't have to be a slave to anyone. Not anymore. What's stopping you from shifting the focus? All those dreams you've buried, those passions you've ignored, the things you've pushed aside because you thought someone else's needs were more important. Why not put yourself first for once? Why not let yourself be the center of your universe? You deserve it. You deserve to take the time, to invest the energy, to focus on building yourself. No, this isn't selfish. This isn't about abandoning everyone else or turning your back on the world. It's about putting yourself in the position to be the best version of you so you can give back to the world in a way that's authentic and powerful. Do you really think you can be of any use to anyone if you're burnt out, broken, and drained? If you're running on fumes, giving the last bit of energy you have to people who don't care while your own growth suffers? Take a step back. Take a breath. Forget about everything else. Look in the mirror. Who do you see staring back at you? Someone who's been trying to please others. Someone who's been stuck in the rut of other people's dreams and expectations. Or do you see someone with potential? Someone who's got dreams of their own, who's got the power to make things happen but just never took the time to realize it. This is your moment to focus on your own growth. You're not here to live out other people's stories. You're not here to be a side character. You're not here to play by anyone else's rules. You're the one who gets to write your own narrative. You've been given a life. It's your life. No one else's. It's time you started taking full responsibility for it. Focus on what you want to achieve, not what they want from you. Don't let their noise drown out the voice inside you that's been whispering, begging for attention. You don't need anyone else's approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval to take the first step. The only person who gets to decide if you succeed or fail is you. The only thing that matters now is what you want to become. And if you want to be better, if you want to grow, you're going to have to start tuning out everything else and focusing on yourself. Focus on your goals, your vision, your passions, your future. Stop being distracted by what others are doing. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else. They're running their race, and you're running their race. But you'll never get ahead if you keep looking to the side to see where everyone else is. You'll just stumble, you'll trip, you'll never get to the finish line if you keep worrying about how everyone else is doing. This is your time, this is your shot. No one else's opinion matters. Stop worrying about what they think, what they expect, and what they say. It's all noise. It's all distractions. The only thing that matters is you and your progress, your dreams, your success. You have one life. Don't waste it being someone you're not or chasing someone else's dream. It's time to build your own path. And it all starts with focusing on yourself. Oh, you think you have it all figured out, don't you? You've got the whole world spinning around you. Everyone telling you how to think, what to do, what you should wear, where you should go. They've got their little opinions, their expectations, their rules, and they're so eager to shove them down your throat. It's like they're all playing a game, trying to win your attention, your approval, your time. But here's the thing, none of it really matters, does it? They can keep talking. They can keep trying to tell you who to be, but you're not interested in playing their game anymore. Why? Because you've learned a little something, haven't you? You've figured out that the world doesn't give a damn about you, not the way you want it to. It's all about survival, keeping your head above water, pretending to smile when inside you're slowly sinking. But that doesn't have to be you, not anymore. You've got control. You've got the power to take a step back, look at everything, and say, no, I'm not playing by your rules. I'm playing by my own. And that's the first thing you need to get. You are the one who decides where you're going, where your life is heading. You're the one who controls the narrative, not them. Everyone around you will try to convince you that you're not enough, that you need to be something more, be someone else, become what they want you to become. But here's the truth they don't want you to hear: you're already more than enough as you are. You don't need their approval to be who you are. You don't need their validation to live your life. Think about it. All those people who've been telling you what to do, how to act, what's right and wrong, they don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. They don't understand what drives you. They're just talking to fill the silence. They're scared of someone who doesn't follow the script. Someone who's willing to say, I don't care what you think. They want to control you, shape you, break you down so they can feel better about themselves. But you're not here for that. You're not a puppet. You're not a marionette on their strings. You're someone who's finally waking up to their own worth, realizing that the only opinion that matters is your own. The problem with focusing on everyone else is that you end up drowning in their noise. You get so caught up in trying to please them, trying to be what they want you to be, that you forget who you are. You lose yourself in the chaos. But let's get something clear: no one knows what's best for you, except you. No one can see the world through your eyes. No one knows what you've been through, what you've had to survive, what you've overcome. Only you know that. So why let anyone else tell you how to live? But don't get me wrong, it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's hard to stop caring about everyone else's opinions, to stop seeking validation from the world. The temptation to please them is real. It's a monster that's been feeding off you for years. But here's where you need to make a choice. You can keep feeding that monster, keep playing their game, keep chasing their expectations. Or you can take back the power. You can stop caring about their approval and start focusing on what truly matters to you. What happens when you stop caring about what others think? It's like breathing for the first time in years. It's freeing. You realize you don't have to be anyone else's version of perfect. You're already perfect in your own way. You're not flawed. You're not broken. You're just human, with all the mess and all the greatness that comes with it. And that's okay. You don't need to pretend to be something you're not. You don't need to be anyone's idea of a success. Your success is yours alone. You decide what that looks like. And it doesn't matter if they try to drag you down. You know what? Let them. Let them laugh. Let them criticize. Let them judge. Because while they're out there making noise, you'll be quietly getting better. You'll be growing, improving, building something real. They won't understand it. They'll look at you and wonder why you're not playing their game. But it won't matter. Because you'll be too busy winning your own race. People will tell you to stop, to quit, to give up. But if you listen to them, you'll be just like everyone else, stuck in the same miserable cycle of trying to meet someone else's expectations. That's not a life. That's a trap. It's a cage they've built around you. But you don't have to stay there. You can break free. You can choose to stop caring, to stop listening to them, and to start living on your own terms. Because in the end, you're the one who matters. You're the one who decides how you're going to live. So stop worrying about them. They don't matter. It's all noise. It's all distractions. What matters is that you start focusing on yourself, that you start building the life you want. Because when you finally stop caring about everyone else, that's when you truly start living. Oh, the world is full of noise, isn't it? Every corner you turn, someone's trying to tell you what to do, how to think, where to go. They all want a piece of you, a slice of your time, your energy, your attention. And what do you get in return? Nothing but a pile of expectations and empty promises. It's laughable, really. People think they know better. They think they have it all figured out, but they don't. They don't even know what's best for themselves, let alone for you. And yet they still demand that you fit into their little boxes, their little plans. They want to shape you, control you, make you just like them. But here's the punchline: you don't owe them a damn thing. You see, it's all a game. A twisted, sick game. And most people are too busy playing along to even realize that the rules are rigged from the start. They're told to follow the path, keep their heads down, work hard, get the rewards, live a nice little life. But here's the thing about that: it's all a setup. The promises they dangle in front of you, they're hollow. The things they want you to chase, they're distractions. And in the end, you're left with nothing. It's like they've been spoon-feeding you a lie your whole life and you've been gobbling it up like a hungry child. But you don't have to eat that slop anymore. You're not a fool. You can see through the smoke and mirrors. You know what's really going on. So here's the first truth: it's okay to stop listening to them. In fact, it's necessary. You don't need their approval. You don't need their opinions. You don't need their opinions. You don't need their judgments. They'll try to tell you that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you're too crazy or too different. They'll try to keep you in line like good little soldiers. But why would you follow their path? Why would you play by their rules when you can make your own? The moment you stop caring about their nonsense is the moment you start taking control of your life. You become free. Free to be yourself. Free to do what you want. Free to live the way you want. No more pretending. No more pleasing. Just you. Real. Raw. Unfiltered. People want you to be something you're not because it makes them feel better about themselves. They're scared of someone who doesn't follow the script. Someone who doesn't play by their rules. Someone who might actually have the guts to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to conform to your boring little world. I'm going to do it my way, and that's terrifying to them. It's like a glitch in the matrix. And when you start to live for yourself, when you start to follow your own path, they'll come after you. They'll try to knock you down. They'll call you names. They'll tell you that you're making a mistake. But guess what? That's just more noise. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, you're still the one in control. You're still the one in control. You're still the one who decides what you're going to do next. But here's the kicker: they'll try to make you feel guilty for not following their plan. They'll tell you that you're selfish, that you're crazy, that you're ruining your life. They'll try to convince you that you're supposed to live for them, to make them happy. But think about it for a second. Who's really selfish here? The person who's trying to control your every move? Or the person who's just trying to be themselves? You're not selfish for wanting to live on your terms. You're not crazy for refusing to play their game. You're just waking up. You're realizing that their approval means nothing. It's just a bunch of empty words, a hollow echo that fades as soon as you stop listening. The more you listen to them, the more you lose yourself. You give away pieces of who you are until there's nothing left. And for what? To please people who don't care about you. To fit into a mold that doesn't even fit. It's exhausting, isn't it? Pretending to be something you're not just to make other people comfortable. But what about you? What about your comfort? What about your peace of mind? You deserve that too. And you won't get it by trying to be what they want you to be. You'll get it by being yourself. By saying, no, I'm not going to play along. I'm going to do this my way. It won't be easy. There'll be days when you doubt yourself, days when you wonder if you made the right choice. But you know what? That's normal. Change is hard, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Because the more you choose yourself, the more you stop caring about what they think, the more powerful you become. You take back control. You stop being a puppet. You stop being a victim of their game. You start being the master of your own fate. And when you finally realize that their words don't matter, when you stop trying to live up to their expectations, that's when the magic happens. That's when you start living on your own terms. And the best part? You'll finally be free. Free from their noise. Free from their judgments. Free to be exactly who you're meant to be. Oh, let me tell you something, people don't get it. They really don't. The world is obsessed with one thing, one crazy idea that somehow still manages to slip under the radar. You know what that is? Control. Everyone's trying to control you. Every single person. They want to manipulate your thoughts, dictate your moves, create their vision of who you should be. Why? Because it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel in charge. They can't handle the chaos, the unpredictability of someone who's truly free, someone who's untamed. But listen up. Here's the thing, nobody's controlling me. Not anymore. You see, they all think they can shape you. The world's full of these little puppeteers pulling strings, forcing you into boxes, confining you with their tiny little expectations. It's sick, isn't it? They want you to conform, to fit into their little narrative, to be just like them. But here's the twist: why would you want to be like them? Why would you want to live a life that's been already written? Life's messy, it's unpredictable, and that's the beauty of it. The moment you start letting people dictate who you are, you lose everything that's worth living for. Think about it for a second. All these people, they've been telling you what's normal, what's acceptable, what's proper, as if they hold some magical answer to the puzzle of life. Newsflash, no one does. They don't have the answers. They don't know the first thing about who you are or what you could become. They're just too busy convincing themselves that they've got it figured out, that their way is the only way. But here's the fun part: you don't have to buy into that. You don't owe them anything. They can tell you all they want, whisper all the little lies, try to bend you to their will, but guess what? You don't have to listen. Not anymore. The people who control the narrative, the ones who want you to be their version of perfect, they don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to question their authority. They don't want you to disrupt their delicate little worlds. Why? Because a world full of people who think for themselves, who make their own choices, is a world that's not so easily controlled. It's a world where things get messy, unpredictable, and God forbid, exciting. But you know what? That's the world you deserve. That's the world you should be fighting for. Not a world where everyone's smiling and pretending, hiding behind the mask of perfection, trying to please everyone around them, thinking they'll finally find some kind of peace. It's all just noise, distractions. The chaos you feel inside, that's your soul screaming for freedom. That's the real you, the one buried under layers of other people's expectations, trying to claw its way out. The moment you stop listening to them, stop trying to please them, stop living for them, that's when you start to get it. You're free. Free to be who you really are. And that freedom, it's priceless. But it's not something they'll ever teach you. No, you have to figure it out for yourself. And trust me, it's not easy. Because the second you step out of line, the second you say, I'm not doing this anymore, they'll try to bring you back into the fold. They'll try to reel you back in, make you feel guilty for thinking for yourself. But they don't know you. They don't know your struggle. They don't know the price you've paid for your silence, for fitting into their mold. They don't understand how it feels to pretend every single day. You're not their puppet. They don't control your strings. And guess what? They'll never control your mind either. You are the one who decides what's right for you. Not them. Not anyone else. Just you. And that's the part they can't stand, isn't it? The moment you take control, the moment you stop answering to them, you start becoming dangerous. Dangerous to their little system, their little game. Because a person who doesn't need approval, a person who can stand tall without seeking validation, well, they're unstoppable. But let's be real here. You're going to face some resistance. Oh, absolutely. People will fight it. They'll try to tear you down. They'll question your motives, your decisions. They'll try to shame you for breaking out of their mold, for daring to be different. But do you know what I've learned? It doesn't matter. Not one bit. They can scream, they can criticize, they can judge all they want, but their words are nothing more than background noise. It's the sound of fear that you're waking up, fear that you might just be onto something they never understood. And that's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you powerful. The moment you stop caring what they think, the moment you stop playing by their rules, you've won. It's a quiet rebellion, a peaceful revolt. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. You don't have to announce it to the world. No, you just have to live it. And that, my friend, is how you start to reclaim your life. how you take back everything they thought they had stolen from you. You'll be so far ahead, so deep into your own world, they'll have no idea what hit them. They'll wonder what happened, where you went, why you don't care anymore. And you'll just smile, knowing that you've become something they can't control. All right, let me ask you this. Why do we care so much? Why is it that we spend so much of our lives doing everything we can to meet expectations, to follow the rules, to please others? It's almost like we have some kind of invisible script running in the back of our minds, telling us we have to be a certain way, behave a certain way. Don't step out of line. Stay within the lines. Don't be too loud. Don't be too quiet. Don't be too quiet. Don't be too anything. The truth is, we've been so conditioned to follow this script, we forget something very important. The only person you should be trying to please is you. The only standard you should be living up to is your own. But no, instead we look around, searching for validation, waiting for someone to tell us we're doing it right, that we're good enough, that we matter. And for what? So we can keep getting the little pat on the back, so we can feel like we fit into some perfect little box that someone else created for us. It's all just a game. A big, stupid game that we've all been playing. You ever stop to think about who made the rules to that game? Who decided what's right, what's wrong, who gets to win, who gets to lose? They don't care about you. They don't care about your dreams or your desires. All they care about is keeping you in line, keeping you distracted, keeping you from realizing that you don't need to follow the script, that you don't need to play by anyone's rules but your own. So you're walking around every day, constantly measuring yourself against some invisible standard, trying to prove that you're worthy of something. Maybe it's worthiness, maybe it's success, maybe it's love. But in the end, it's all just a game, and you're playing on someone else's field. They make the rules, they get to call the shots, and you, well, you're just another pawn in their game. You see, people love to tell you that you need to be something, that you need to be successful, happy, wealthy, and popular. But what happens when you don't want any of that? What happens when you realize that maybe you're not supposed to fit into their mold? What if you don't want the game anymore? What if you want something more than just being part of the system? It's a funny thing, isn't it? The moment you decide you don't care what people think anymore, that's when the world starts getting uncomfortable. Everyone around you gets so uneasy. They don't like it. They don't like it when you stop playing the game, when you stop following their rules. Why? Because you're disrupting the system. You're not just a cog in their machine anymore. You've stopped caring about the little things they've made you care about for all these years. You've broken free from the chains they've wrapped around your mind. And that's when the chaos begins. That's when you start seeing things for what they really are. Suddenly, you don't care about the opinions of strangers, the judgment from family, the expectations from friends. It all becomes meaningless. And when that happens, when you stop needing anyone's approval to feel validated, when you no longer care about playing the game by their rules, well, let's just say you become dangerous. It's scary, right? Because in a way, you're doing exactly what they fear the most. You're stepping out of line. You're questioning the system. You're looking at the world and going, why should I follow these rules? Why should I care about anything that's not serving me? They don't want you to ask these questions. They don't want you to start thinking for yourself, because that's when things get messy. That's when people start realizing they don't have to live their lives by anyone's rules. That's when the game starts to fall apart. And that's when they'll try to pull you back in. They'll try to convince you to play by the rules again. They'll offer you comfort, security, and a false sense of control. But none of it matters. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who controls your destiny, not them. They can try to tear you down. They can try to make you feel like you're wrong for going against the grain, for choosing your own path. They'll laugh at you, mock you, tell you you're making a mistake. But the joke's on them. Because in the end, you're the one who's free. You're the one who's not tied down by their expectations, their rules, their systems. You're not part of their game anymore. You've written your own script. You've created your own path. And that's the most dangerous thing you can do, create your own rules. So when you hear those voices telling you to fit in, to conform, to stay small, to be quiet, just remember they don't know you. They don't know your power. They don't know the real you. They don't know what you're capable of. And when you start to see that, when you realize you don't need their approval, you don't need to follow their rules well, that's when you truly begin to live. And when you start living for yourself, that's when you start making the world a little less predictable. And they hate that. All right, let's talk about something they don't want you to know, something they've been hiding from you. They've made it look so shiny, so glamorous, but let's peel back the layers, shall we? We've been taught over and over again that we need to chase after this perfect, polished, packaged version of success. And they've made it look so pretty. You know the one. The fancy car, the Instagram perfect life, the friends who adore you, the constant applause and validation. They tell you that's what you need. That's what you have to go for. But you don't need any of that, do you? No, 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 no. You're smarter than that. You've been tricked long enough. All those shiny things are nothing but distractions. Distractions to keep you from focusing on the one thing that actually matters you. You want to know what's funny? It's the fact that they've made you believe that you're supposed to be running around chasing this so-called dream that everyone else tells you about. They say you need to climb the corporate ladder, to find your perfect match, to go after all those things that will make you whole. But all they really want is for you to keep running in circles, chasing that elusive carrot dangling in front of you, never really getting there. What happens when you start seeing through the facade? When you stop chasing all the things that they've told you are necessary and you begin to focus on yourself instead? What happens when you stop seeking validation from the people around you, from the world that doesn't give a damn about you? Well, that's when the power shifts. That's when you start making your own rules. When you stop letting the world dictate who you should be and what you should have. That's when you realize, hey, wait a minute, I don't need all that noise they've been throwing at you, trying to distract you from the truth. Yeah, you don't need it. When you finally let go of the distractions, when you stop caring about the applause, when you stop chasing after that illusory carrot, you become dangerous. You become the kind of person who starts doing things for themselves. You stop trying to please everyone around you, trying to fit into their neat little boxes. No, now you're walking a path of your own making. You know what you want, and more importantly, you know what you don't want. And that's what scares them, isn't it? Because when you start tuning out all the noise, when you start focusing on yourself, they lose control. They lose that power over you that they've always had. They lose their ability to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel like you're not enough, to make you feel like you need more to be happy. And what do you get in return? Peace. A peace they can't take away from you, no matter how hard they try. Oh, they'll try. You better believe it. They'll come after you, trying to drag you back into the chaos, into the game they've been playing. But you've already seen through it. You've already realized that their game doesn't matter. Their applause doesn't matter. Their judgment doesn't matter. What matters is that you stop wasting time, stop wasting energy on things that will never fill the void. You start focusing on yourself because you're the only one who knows what's best for you. So don't let them fool you into thinking that you need to be part of their world. You don't. You don't need to be what they tell you to be. You don't need their approval, their validation, their empty promises. You just need to focus on yourself. You need to take back your power. You need to stop looking for answers in all the wrong places and start finding them in yourself. They want you to be small. They want you to stay in your lane, to play it safe. They want you to stay quiet, to keep your head down, to do what they say and never ask questions. But when you decide to focus on yourself, when you decide to stop caring about what they think, that's when you stop playing their game. That's when you make the rules. You start doing what feels right to you, what makes you feel alive. And that's when the world starts to get a little scared, because they don't know how to deal with someone who isn't afraid to be themselves. They don't know how to handle someone who isn't seeking their approval anymore. You'll hear the voices, you'll feel the pressure, but you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. You're not doing this for them. You're not living for them. You're not living for them. You're not existing for their applause or their acceptance. You're living for yourself. You're focusing on your own growth, your own happiness, your own peace of mind. And when you do that, when you stop letting them control you, you'll see that the only thing that really matters is you. That's the trick, isn't it? They've spent years making you think you were supposed to look outside yourself for validation, for meaning, for fulfillment. But you don't need any of that. You never did. All you need is you. You need to realize that you're enough, that you're worthy, that you've got everything you need inside you already. And when you see that, when you truly believe it, that's when the real magic happens.